Good evening. My name is Rob Cagnetta, and this is a meeting of the South Kingstown, Rhode Island Zoning Board of Review. Members present tonight are Bill Rosen, Arlene Hicks, Jeff Elia, and alternates Bill McDonald, who would be stepping in at this point as our fifth. So also present tonight are Amy Goins, South Kingstown Special Legal Counsel, Jamie Gorman, South Kingstown and Building and Zoning Official, and Ben Barbera, our Administrative Support Associate. The board is made up of 8 people with 5 regular voting members. A minimum of 4 must be present to vote. In the event that a regular member is absent or recused, an alternate will step in. No more than 5 members are entitled to a vote, and at least 3 voting members are needed to grant the relief requested. Tonight, voting will be myself, Mr. Rosen, Ms. Hicks, Mr. Elia, and Mr. McDonald. The applicants are here for either a dimensional use variance or a use permit, special use permit. The board is a quasi-judicial body created by the South Kingstown Ordinance pursuant to state statutes. We don't follow strict rules of evidence, and we operate in what we believe to be in a fair and equitable manner. We try to let everyone speak unless you get carried away or it's deemed not relevant. So for the interest of time, please be brief and on point. We'll do our best not to argue and keep things civil. And we try to hear our last petition by 10 o'clock. And we're more than happy to help guide people through the process. After we introduce your petition, please step forward up to the microphone, adjusting it as necessary. Clearly state and spell your name for the record. You will then be asked to take an oath to tell the truth. After that, you can present your petition with any witnesses to testify in support of your application. The board will then ask you or your witnesses questions. And I did leave out, when you go up there, there's 2 buttons on the microphone platform here. There's one with the body with the little speaking thing out of it. Just hit that, and so it turns red. And then turn it off when you're done speaking, or else we get this awful feedback. So after the petitioner has presented their testimony, anyone with questions in support of or opposition to the petition can step up to the microphone. You will identify yourself, be sworn in, and present your testimony with follow-up questions from the board. Please do not direct any questions or comments to the petitioner or any other witnesses. The board will ask questions to the petitioner or its witnesses after your comment period. So after hearing all the testimony, board members will discuss the application and evidence presented. Board members will ask a lot of questions, and there's a good reason. We cannot just grant anything we choose. There are rules to follow per our South Kingstown ordinance. So you must give testimony to support certain facts to allow the request to be approved. So tonight we have dimensional and special use permits on the agenda. So for a special use permit, you must present evidence that your hardship is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure, but is not due to the general characteristics of the surrounding area, that your hardship is not the result of any prior action on your part, that granting the variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area, and that your hardship by the denial of the variance will amount to more than a mere inconvenience. So that means that the relief sought is minimal to reasonably enjoy the permitted use the property is proposed for. Did I start by saying that? Oh, I apologize. That was all dimensional variance, by the way. I'd be more than happy when you come up there for it to restate these. But for a special use permit, you must present that the request is specifically authorized by the zoning ordinance. So somewhere in our ordinance, it has to be authorized, or we do not have the power to grant it. You wouldn't be here if it weren't allowed. The request meets the criteria in the zoning ordinance that authorizes such special use, and that the request will not alter the general character of the surrounding area, nor will it impair the purpose or intent of the zoning ordinance. And then also know that all the material that we received for your application will be entered into the record. So if we don't refer to something, you can bring it up, but it is known that all of the contents that you submitted to us are part of the record. So, that being said, is there anything that I have to go over administratively? Nope. Okay. So tonight we're going to start with the continuation of the petition of Milton Rogers of 70 Foster Sheldon Road of South Kingstown, Rhode Island, 02879 for an appeal to the zoning board under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to appeal a decision issued by the zoning enforcement officer dated June 25th, 2025, related to the premises at 28 Columbia Street. The owner of the property is Rogers Home, Inc., for premises located at 28 Columbia Street, South Kingstown. Assessors map 57-1, lot 43, and is zoned CN, which is a commercial neighborhood. We did receive a correspondence on September 15th via email that states that the applicant requests a continuance for this meeting. They're hoping to have it heard on October 15th instead. The need for this request is set forth below. The above referenced matter involves a decision by the zoning enforcement officer which determined that both the building permit issued to the property and a special use permit have expired. Since the filing of the appeal, in accordance with the decision on June 25th, 2025, the applicant has engaged our office to assist with the potential appeal set forth by the zoning board of review. Their office was in conversation with the building department and plans to work cooperatively with the town of South Kingstown to resolve this matter, and hopefully without the need for further proceedings. In order to allow these conversations to continue in the hope that the issue will be resolved, they asked the request be continued. This is from Samuel Budway, the lawyer representing. Is there anyone here for this petition, by chance? No? It seems like a reasonable request. I know we already continued it once last month, and there wasn't a letter last month, I don't believe, right? There was an email as well, but it wasn't from an attorney last month. It was from the representative of the property.
I believe it was from the same attorney.
Was it from the same attorney? Okay. So they're just asking for another one.
And my understanding was Attorney Budway was maybe only a day or two, aware of the application and the appeal. So when he filed that, so we've been speaking since then.
Okay. Okay. Does anyone have any concerns, questions about this request? Yeah.
Can we make a motion that this be the last request for continuation, given it's the second?
Mm-hmm. Ms. Goins?
Things come up, things happen, weather, cars, personal situations. So I think you can, and I see it in district court all the time. The judges will say no further continuances, and then someone has an excuse because life happens. So I think you can, but if something comes up next month, I would advise, grant a request for a continuance unless there's some clear evidence that continuances are being requested on a repeated basis solely for the purpose of delay. And I think based on the indications we have and my own conversations with the attorney, I think the attempt is a issue to potentially resolve the situation without having the need for the board to review it. So I think you can make that motion, but I just want to offer that advice. I would recommend approve the continuance as requested, and let's see what happens next month.
Yeah, please, Mr. Eulia. Just, yep.
I make a motion that we continue the petition of Milton Rogers of 70 Foster Shelton Road to our October 15th meeting.
So moved by Mr. Ilya. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Ms. Hicks? You okay with that? Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Ilya? Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. Rosen? Aye. Mr. McDonald? Aye. Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Okay. So next we have the petition of Joseph Dorso of 2210 Scott Road, Cheshire, Connecticut, 06410 for a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a 10-foot by 24-foot 7-inch addition to the existing seasonal cottage. Lot size is 7.67 acres. A special use permit is required per the zoning ordinance, section 203, which is our special use permit for addition, enlargement, expansion, or intensification, and section 608, our coastal community overlay district, and section 907, our standards of relief. The owners of the cottage are 691 Y Succotash Road, are Joseph and Christian Dorso, on property owned by the Village at Potter's Pond LLC, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 87-3, Lot 58, and is zoned CW. Is anyone here for this? Come on up. And again, just turn on the mic and state and spell your name, please.
My name is Joseph Dorso, Josephd''Orso.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Excellent. So go ahead, tell us what you'd like to do.
So 246 square foot addition to the existing 500 square foot structure, 506 square foot structure, which would be a 50% increase per allowed by a zoning appeal, by this appeal. So the existing house will remain as is. The proposed addition would go 10 feet off the back of the house, which is currently parking, and basically pretty self-explanatory. I don't know if you have any questions on it.
So again, you're not getting any closer to the adjacent structure?
No.
It's only 12 and a half feet away. We prefer it to be more, but you're not getting any closer, right?
No, not any closer now.
And by going towards the roadway, are you taking over any parking spaces for your unit?
So for my unit, there used to be grass there.
Yep.
And I put stone there. You can see where the stone is now. So it would leave me, right now I have 4 spots, it would leave me with 2 spots.
Okay. How many spots do you need?
We typically in the village get 2 spots, but you know, if you panned over towards Captain Jack's there's a ton of auxiliary parking there. We can't utilize it. See to the right there, yeah. All that is because that's septic, and you can't do anything but park on it. You can't put structures or anything.
Okay. So it's not going to necessarily change how people go in and out of your building or in terms
No.
of parking? Is there any trash or anything around the building that like trash receptacles
No.
that you manage?
No, trash receptacles are across the street to the right there. So right about where close to where the parking is that I just described.
Okay. And any other systems or anything else you're putting in? Like, is it going to change the meter, where the meter is, or any access to that stuff?
No, it wouldn't change access to the meter. You know, once I get into the approval phases of construction, you know, not sure if the electrical service would need to be upgraded to the capacity of having a mini split, but nothing that would require additional structures. It would still be fixed to the house the way it is now.
And I'm sure there are rules for this particular property in terms of lighting and things like that, right?
Well, we don't have any specific rules for the village at Potter Pond around lighting. We have street lights of our own, but I wouldn't be adding any additional lights.
So no spotlights or anything like that?
No, there'd be no lights, no.
Okay. Board members, any questions for the applicant?
No, I walked the property several days ago. I thought it to be very straightforward. So good use of the available land you have.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Rosen?
Well, just one question. Do you reside there year-round? Or
No,
just
it's
certain-
seasonal.
And is there anybody else that resides in that building with you?
No, it's seasonal. It's my brother and I.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, board members? Nope. Do you want to add anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I just
Yeah.
add, because of the proximity to the water,
Yes.
this would require CRMC approval,
Oh, it does?
and it would be eligible for the 2-year expiration.
Okay. So you know what that means?
I know what the CRMC approval is. I'm not sure what the 2-year expiration is.
So typically, what do we have? Is it a year that people have for being able to execute the project? but they're allowing you 2 years to execute the project just based on the potential delays from any other state regulatory stuff.
Sounds good.
Yep, okay. Thank you, Mr. Gorman. Do you want anything else? You good? Okay, thank you. Anyone else out there want to speak on behalf of this petition? Nope. Yeah, like Mr. Ilya mentioned, it does seem very straightforward. It doesn't seem to be taking up any of the adjacent land in terms of egress in and out of the property, so it seems fine to me. So, does anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. This is a motion to approve the special use permit of Mr. Joseph Diorzo. Did I pronounce that right? Mr. Diorzo spoke on behalf of himself for this application. The following materials were entered into record: zoning application ZBR-2529, which include construction designs by the Arias Design Solutions Company. The board finds that the special use is specifically authorized by this ordinance because of Section 608 and Section 203 of zoning ordinance. The board further finds that the special use meets all the criteria set forth in the subsection of the ordinance authorizing special use because Mr. Diorzo is requesting his existing structure to be expanded greater than 25%, but less than the 50% current footprint, which will be a 10 by 24.7 addition. The board further finds that granting the special use permit will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of this ordinance or the comprehensive plan of the town. In doing so, the board has considered whether or not satisfactory provisions and arrangements have or will be made concerning but not limited to the following matters where applicable. That would be ingress and egress to the lot and to the existing proposed structures therein, on and off-street parking and loading areas where required, with particular attention to items subsection A1 with regards to noise, glare, or odor effects of special use permits, trash storage and deliver areas to the above area, utilities with reference to locations and availability, screening and buffering with reference to type, dimensions, and character, signs, if any, including exterior lighting, with reference to glare, traffic, safety, and compatibility and harmony with the lots in the zoning district, required yards and other open space, and general compatibility. This approval is subject to the following conditions, which would be CRCM approval with a 2-year expiration.
Thank you, Mr. Ilya. Is there any other, can I get a second? Second by Mr. Rosen. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Ilya? Aye. Mr. Rosen? Aye. Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald? Aye. Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Good luck. Of course. All right. Next, we have the petition of Jerry Zarella of 20 Gerald's Farm Road, Exeter, Rhode Island, 02822, for a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a 215 square foot addition and 199 square foot deck on the existing seasonal cottage. The lot size is 50.2 acres. A special use permit is required per the zoning ordinance 203, special use permit for addition, enlargement, expansion, or intensification, and section 608, or coastal community overlay district, and section 907, or standards of relief. Owner of the cottage is 10W5 is Gerald P. Zarella, trust on property owned by Matunukeech Properties, located 240 Cards Pond Road, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 92-1, Lot 9-335, and is zoned R200. Good evening. Turn on your mic. The person button, yep. And just spell and state your name, please.
I'm Deborah Zarella. Is that too close? No, okay. Deborah Zarella. Deborah's D-E-B-R-A. Zarella, Z-A-R-R-E-L-L-A.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So please tell us what you'd like to do.
We're adding 215 square feet to the existing cottage, where proposing to take off the 3 sheds that are on the outside of the house and expanding out toward the field and not anymore toward the street or the 2 neighbors on either side. We're also proposing to add 199 square feet of decking, exterior decking. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. So this first page,
Yes. It's showing you the as-is at the top
yep.
and what's proposed at the bottom.
So you're taking out those windows to make an open porch?
I would like to.
Oh, okay. That's what you're, so,
Yeah.
but you're not adding that part?
No, I am adding a little bit. If you go to the second page,
Yep.
the red hash marks are the interior, well, I should say, put it this way, I'm counting it as interior space because the enclosed porch prior to this renovation was considered interior. So the red hash marks is what I'm adding on for interior space, and that's what makes up the 215 square feet. If you look at the blue hash marks on the overlay, that's the exterior decking. And if you go to the following page, you'll see it in reverse, where the as-built is underneath the proposed. And then you got the 4 exteriors elevations on the remaining pages.
Okay. So you're changing the roof line a little bit too?
I'm changing just the rear, over the bedroom area, because there's a really flat roof over there.
Yep.
So I want to take that flat roof off and put a gable on like you're seeing. You can kind of see
Yep.
what they have on the screen there, which is on the front page. Well, actually, you can't see it on the front page, sorry. Yeah.
And you're not exceeding the height of the existing building with the new roof line?
The main roof I'm keeping intact. I'm only going to remove that flat part, which was an addition off the back. The original structure is staying as is. I'm not doing anything to the original structure. I'm just sort of taking that flat roof off on the back portion, taking the 3 sheds off, and adding 2 toward the field.
Yep. And so your expansion, is your expansion getting closer to any of the neighbors?
No, it's not.
Okay. So you're basically going towards the street and to the field?
I'm not going any more toward the street.
Okay.
That remains. The only place that I'm adding to is the field side, not the 2 neighbors nor the street.
And the west neighbor, that isn't going any closer to the neighbor, but you are adding a little deck there,
You're
right, to get in?
correct.
Okay.
You're correct, yes. Well, where I'm removing that addition, that shed that was there,
Yep.
and just adding an exterior deck and just a couple of feet of closet space in the back of the bedroom.
Okay. Okay. Board members, any questions?
Yes, how does this impact, if any, the parking? I went by the property, but I couldn't tell where you
Well-
normally park.
It doesn't impact it at all because there is a clothesline that's in front of the field side that nobody parks in there. And it doesn't impact parking at all. Everybody parks in the field, but nobody parks any closer than that clothesline. So that's been there since the 50s.
Any other questions, board members? No? Okay. Do you want to add anything else?
I think I did it. I think I added everything unless anybody else has any questions.
No? Not yet.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. If you could just turn off that mic, sorry. Thank you. Is anyone out there want to speak on behalf? Come on up. And just turn it on, state your name, and spell it for us, please.
Paul Ainsworth, Ainsworth.
Sure. What would you like to add?
I've been a resident of Roy Carpenter's Beach for quite a while, and I know Mr. Zarella here. In the past, they've only allowed 150 square feet to add on to any property. In fact, I have had a house, I moved the house, and to add on to it, I could only go 150 feet. Mr. Zarella is in a situation where he has plenty of room to do this. I'm just afraid that by going over that 150 feet, it opens the door for other people to do the same that don't have as much room around the houses. So if you start with one, you open the door for the others.
There might have been considerations that led to that limit of 150, but let's find out. Mr. Gorman, could you help explain this, maybe?
Yeah, so Section 608, that kind of regulates this area, Roy's and other coastal community overlay district properties. 50% is the cap on expansion without requiring a dimensional variance. However, if you're replacing your cottage or it's 50% or 150 square feet, whichever is less. So that only comes into play if you're replacing it.
Okay.
Additions would be limited to 50% of the year 2000 field card, what you had on file with the town.
Okay. Ms. Goins?
And also, the property owner did sign off on the application.
So basically, do you understand what Mr. Gorman is saying is that if you're replacing the structure, then it's limited to 150 square feet bigger than what the footprint is of that building. But if you're adding to it, you can add up to 50% of the footprint as long as you're meeting certain criteria of egress and so forth. So what one person is doing doesn't necessarily have an effect on others per se. So it's not like one person's expansion is going to take away from other person's eligibility to grow. Does that make sense?
I think so. It's just, I thought it was 150 square feet total that you could
Period.
put onto a house.
Yeah, no, it seems as if that it's for replacement only, that it's the 150 square foot limit of expansion. But I wasn't even aware of that. But yes, it seems to be limited to replacement only and not to
Just
expansion.
total replacement.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So it sounds like the best thing to do is to keep the footprint and keep as much of the building as you can and then expand on it if you really want to have a much, more than 50% of what you have. Does that make sense? If you have the room.
I'd just like to add, Mr. Chairman, everything is what was on file for every one of these cottages in the year 2000, what the tax assessor has is essentially your bank for floor area. So, in time, you can't do an addition on top of an addition on top of an addition. So we always revert back to that number as like a baseline, if that makes sense.
No problem. Thank you. Yeah, come on up. Well, no, you have to, unfortunately. I'm sorry. We need you in front of a mic. There is a camera, so people like to.
I know you've guys worked on the microphones, but I'm hearing impaired. So I'm able to hear you, I'm not able to hear any of them. So there's a lot of feedback also coming from the mic system. The last time I've been here, it's been a long time, and I complained years ago. And I don't normally come to these meetings because it frustrates me, because I'm not hearing what you guys are all saying.
Yep.
So unfortunately, I have a disability, and I have to
Okay.
deal with it, and I try to deal with the best I can.
Sure.
So needless to say, I didn't hear all the things that were just said.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I've.
I mean, I'm hearing you fairly good, but these guys are not either speaking in the mics or not speaking loud enough, so.
Yeah, you almost have to eat the microphone, unfortunately. But I'm sure that they took note of your concerns, because we've certainly talked about it as well, that it is frustrating that we all can't have a mic on and we have to turn it on and off, and so, but thank you. We try to do our best to remind everybody if they're not heard, and I should have said something to Mr. Ilya, because his mic was over here, and it's hard to hear, so we'll try to do better, so I apologize.
The only thing I had to say was my husband was a builder. A lot of houses he built at Roy Carpenter's. And he also said that he thought it was only 150 square feet
Yep.
per you guys back, years ago. He doesn't build anymore, but
Right.
that was what he had said.
So
The
apparently-
The overlay plan or something?
Yeah, they redid an overlay for those two basic areas, Roy Carpenter's and, what's the other property?
Mary Carpenter's?
Mary Carpenter's, yeah. So those two, they ended up redoing it probably half dozen years ago or so. And what they decided was that the year 2000 was the footprint of every cottage, right? And that year 2000 footprint, you can only go 50% bigger than that 2000 footprint. So in 2020, if you put on 30% bigger, you're only allowed to have another, that remaining balance of that 50%.
Okay, I got you.
So the 150 is only for replacement of the cottage itself. So if you want to replace your cottage and tear it all down, then you can only go 150 square feet bigger. But if you want to add, you can add up to 50%. But it's not that straightforward, because if you take a 15-foot corridor and you drop it down to 10, then we're not going to like that, because fire can jump, and we don't want any cottages ideally closer than 15 feet. So there's going to be some caveats that we're like, yeah, no, you
So
can't.
the houses that were built on the 19th and 20th row, the new houses, are they able to go in addition to what they've already got already? And I'm not sure what year that they were built.
I think, I'll let Mr. Gorman answer that, but I would think that they would have, if it was within the past half dozen years, then they would be with that rule, right? The 150, no.
Well, that rule would apply for any structure. I mean, this ordinance went into effect, I believe, in 2016. But so if, the 150 square feet increase, if you have a smaller footprint, you're really limited to what you can replace it with or add on to. However, you can always ask the board for a dimensional variance to exceed that 50% or that 150 square feet. Does that make sense?
So there are limits to how much you can do with a newer building within the ordinance itself without coming in front of the board. So if you want to do more than what's there, right, than what you're allowed in the ordinance, then you can come here and ask for permission. Does that make sense?
Okay.
But you'll pretty much, if you go to Jamie and he'll let you know if you're allowed to come here or not.
Okay.
But certainly, if you don't think he's correct, then you can appeal it and so forth. But there are ways to sort of allow that enlargement to happen. It sounds like, depending on the what's happened over the years. So.
Okay.
Any kind of expansion would need approval either by the zoning board or the technical review committee. So it couldn't be administratively done. Any expansion cannot be administratively done.
So I take that back. So you cannot do anything. Everything has to go through zoning in terms of any expansion. But you can ask. Can you ask for more than that? More than what the maximum allowed is under the ordinance?
With a dimensional variance on top of the special use permit.
Okay. Yeah.
So the figures are, if the cottage was moved from a row where the coastline is now, it's still what was there in the year 2000, regardless of where it moved.
So even if it was moved in 2010, it would still have the footprint from 2000. Does that make sense? So, but feel free, you can reach out to the zoning board, or to the planning, to Jamie. Reach out to the building department if you do have any specific questions about a cottage, and they'll walk you through it. All right? No problem. Thank you. Anyone else out there? Comments? Okay. So this seems reasonable in terms of the request. It sounds like that there's a couple bump outs happening, but The one side is no closer to the neighbor, the other side doesn't seem to have any restrictions in terms of egress. So, does anybody have any thoughts, comments?
Just the fact that we've approved many changes like this previously, and this seems just within that realm, so I don't see that there would be any objection, in my mind at least, associated with this.
Do you want to make a motion?
If you'd like. If
Oh,
you'd like me
yes.
to.
Please.
Okay, I'll make a motion with respect to Deborah Zarella's petition. And the problem is that I'm so short that, to get this down here,
We're sitting, we're all the same height.
not me. I'm always looking up. Okay. The position of Jerry Zarella for a special use permit was made before the board. There were three people that spoke. Deborah Zarella, I presume she's married or a relative of the petitioner, Jerry. Paul Ainsworth, who is a neighbor or lives in this particular area on Cards Pond Road, and Ellen Stamansky, was that correct? Samansky? Yeah, okay, and Ellen Samansky had some individual requests for information associated with the microphones, as well as the difference in what a special use permit would provide and a dimensional variance would provide with respect to this type of change. There were no other people who wanted to speak before the board, and the information was introduced into the record by the chairman before announcing the petition. The board finds that the special use is specifically authorized by the ordinance, specifically because it's a special use. I assume it's been approved by Matunic Beach Properties Incorporated as such, and seems pretty similar to many, many other petitions that have come before this board with respect to this particular property and others as well. The board finds that the special use does meet all the criteria set forth in the subsection of this ordinance authorizing such a special use. All they're doing is enlarging the footprint that is there now. They are changing some, removing some sheds associated with it. They're adding a porch, and they are changing the roof line a little bit, but the changes are not, to any great extent, going to change the character associated with this particular property. And the board finds that granting of the special use permit will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the ordinance or the comprehensive plan of the town. There are no ingress and egress problems associated with the off-street parking. Is pretty well taken care of. Trash, storage, and delivery areas are not going to be altered at all. The utilities in the construction may change, but the availability associated with those utilities is not going to change at all. The screening and buffering will be pretty much the same as it is at present, and there are no signs that's going to be associated with this particular change. And the property is not going to be any closer to any neighboring property or building, so I move approval of this petition.
Thank you, Mr. Rosen. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Ilya. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Mr. Ilya?
Aye.
Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald? Aye. Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Motion passes. Good luck. Thank you. Okay. So, finally, we have the petition of John Brito of 2 Sweetbriar, Warwick, Rhode Island, 02888, for a special use permit and a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to expand the alcohol service area and add 30 dining seats within the existing restaurant. The expansion requires 5 additional parking spaces where no spaces are proposed. Therefore, a dimensional relief of 5 spaces is requested. The lot size is 0.28 acres. A special use permit is required per the zoning ordinance, section 301, schedule of use regulations table, section 504.18, standards of restaurant with alcohol, and a dimensional variance is required per section 711, minimum off-street parking requirements, section 907 are standards of relief. The owner of the property is Main Street LLC for premises located at 323 Main Street, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 57-4, Lot 208, and is zoned CD. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening. My name is David Johnston, Johnston, like the town. I'm the attorney for the applicant and the owner. The applicant, Mr. Brito, is here behind me as well. He will be running the restaurant, so he's here to answer any kind of operation questions, things of that nature. He owns a number of restaurants. He owns 6 restaurants in Rhode Island, Main Street in Wickford, East Greenwich, Jamestown, and Patuxent Village. So he has a lot of experience running these restaurants in similar villages as you have here in South Kingstown. So he's here to answer any kind of operational questions you may have. For the next few minutes, you're stuck with me as for the specific reasons why we're here before this zoning board. This was the old Phil's restaurant, as most of you may be familiar with. The property has been renovated, or is being renovated. It was gutted, for lack of a better word. They are using the same footprint as the Phil's restaurant. They are adding what was a what was a residential apartment. They are going to create a dining room out of. The residential apartment was in the back of the second floor, so when you came up the first floor, you looked straight back, there was a wall. Behind that wall was a residential apartment. That apartment has been taken out. When they bought the property, it needed substantial renovation, and it was difficult to maintain an apartment there without doing substantial exterior renovations for fire code and other issues. And a small apartment in a big restaurant is not really a good fit. You know, they're kind of oil and water. If you have an overnight fire, grease fire, things like that, you don't want people living there. So that's the reason that they're seeking to take over that square footage as an additional dining room. Specifically because of that, we're here speaking of the special use permit for a restaurant with alcohol use under 504.18 of the zoning ordinance. And again, this is a special use permit just for the additional square footage. The existing restaurant has a special use permit in place, and in effect, we are seeking more or less an expansion of that special use permit. Secondly, we're seeking a dimensional variance because the existing 30 seats require 5 additional spaces. We just don't have those spaces to give. The parking lot on site is what it is. We can't make it any bigger to comply with the square footage that's in the building. So that necessitates the parking variance for those 5 spots. As far as the hardship goes, the hardship really is due to the size of the lot relative to the size of the buildings. These buildings were built and lots platted long before pickup trucks and probably vehicles to begin with. So we just don't, like many buildings, there's just not enough parking for what the zoning code requires. There's just no way to alter that lot to provide those additional spaces. The use is consistent with the neighboring uses. It's a restaurant. It's been a restaurant for a long time. It's going to continue to be a restaurant. It's a relatively minor change that gets us here this evening as far as adding that additional dining area. And it also fits with general character of the area as far as other retail and restaurant uses. A denial here is going to mean use of square footage in that restaurant. It's going to create a reasonably sized chunk of that restaurant that's going to be unusable due to parking that would otherwise, make a good dining area for guests and for the town. So that's for the dimensional variance, and again, for the special use permit, 100% of these seats are going to be used. There's no additional bar area, so 100% of these are table seating. And again, it is conforming with the character of the area, as evidenced primarily by the fact that there's a special use permit in effect for the remainder of the building. So with that, Mr. Chairman, we're happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Thank you. So, Mr. Johnson, I noticed that the footprint of the rooftop adjacent building, the footprint's changing a little bit, but the seats are the same?
Of the adjacent rooftop building?
Yeah, the crossover there, it's no longer just a center island for the bar.
Oh, right, yeah, the layout of the bar has changed. The seating count, I believe, is the same. That was as part of the CO, but the layout has changed to make it more of a horseshoe, I believe.
And just across that T, nothing's really going to change for that use, just knowing that there are restrictions to noise and so forth that exist with that
Yes.
portion of the property, right?
Yes, so the existing, we actually have a copy of it here, the existing special use permit and variances as far as the restrictions on operation hours and things of that nature, and Mr. Brito is well aware of those, and those have been discussed.
So we'll maintain lighting and all that fun stuff in that portion. I mean, at least in terms of bleeding, night sky, all that fun stuff.
Right, there's been no exterior changes as far as what's there versus what's proposed. The exterior is largely staying the same.
Okay.
And what we're here for, again, is a dining room in the back, so there's no exterior features or anything like that.
No. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any major changes to anything else in the building. It's just this back portion that you guys are adding to it with that back stair is now being added, correct?
Right, the
As
back
well?
stair is being added as a additional egress, yep.
And was that right? That's right over the spot where there was garbage, right? The dumpster was back there? Is that right?
Mr. Brito could probably
okay.
answer that question better if
Okay.
that's all right. Is it okay if I
Yeah, sure,
introduce
bring him up.
So just give your name.
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is John Brito, the owner of the property that
And spell your name for us, please.
last name is spelled Brito.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. So, welcome, and
Thanks.
thank you for doing what you're doing
Sure.
down there.
Yeah,
It's
thank
very
you.
exciting. So that new stair in the back, what was in that spot before?
It's next to where the dumpster area is. That's still existing.
That's behind the building, right?
Correct.
Were there any other services in that location, like natural gas tanks or anything like
There
that?
used to be there's the natural gas does come from the back door there, but
Right.
on that certain spot where the stairwell is, it had just a shelf with propane tanks that was used for, I don't know, whatever they used in the past with that. I have no idea.
Are you guys going to, well, it's irrelevant. So you're not going to be changing any of the where things are stored on the outside of this building? Because you guys have a pretty small footprint because when the theater sort of carved out their spot, it didn't leave you guys much. Right.
No, we're not changing really anything out there other than the stairway that we added for the egress purpose.
Okay. No, I apologize. So it's their footprint is pretty restricted, but you guys have the
Yeah,
sides
we-
of that arts building.
Sorry, yeah, we own the entire lot.
Right, aside from where their building is
Except
essentially in a
for-
little
except for the
triangle in the
building,
front.
correct, yeah.
Got it. So you have ample room in the back to not restrict parking, but still have all of your garbage and any other deliveries and things like that can still happen
Yeah.
in the
we-
parking lot?
Absolutely. The same way it used to be, whatever way they did it, we still maintain that. The entryways from the street all the
Yep.
way down to the back door is all the same.
Because, it's a challenging, for big trucks and so forth, can't necessarily just, like a Cisco truck just can't pull right in the front and take up Main
Right,
Street.
so we do consider that, so we will be getting multiple deliveries
Yep.
to help alleviate big trucks as much as we can.
Sure.
That is something that we've already addressed with we do use Cisco actually, so.
Yep, of course.
Yeah.
And did you ever come to Phil's or Main Street prior to owning the restaurant?
My wife and I have been on the streets before, but I've never been to that specific restaurant now.
Because it gets busy, but it seems like that there's parking that people find.
Yeah,
I mean, you have one of the more popular ice cream places across the street.
I know it, yeah.
So don't serve any ice cream. But it is challenging at times to sort of, with as places are popular.
Yeah, I'm sure. And we're like Dave mentioned, we have a lot of experience with the being in towns similar to this. Sombra Restaurant in East Greenwich is very similar to this Main Street. It's actually called the Main Street as well. Similar challenges there when it comes to parking. Nowhere, just the same as everywhere else, similar to this road. And I think that will be very helpful that we've come here with that experience. So.
And I mean, it's adding a lot of seats to it. I know we're only requiring 5, but it is adding 30 seats. I mean, in terms of just managing that type, I mean, do you have an area in the restaurant for people to sort of wait if you have all those extra seats?
Well, yeah, we have a little waiting area when people come in for downstairs. But with those additional seats, that's actually going to help the waiting be less.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
because you have more place to put them. You know what I mean?
Mr. Elia, you had some questions?
It seems as though most of the parking issue would be in the evening, correct? That's the crowd you're...
Yeah, it's a great question. I actually was trying to do a little homework, see what other businesses are opened after 5 o'clock.
So my question, I think
Yeah.
you're going where I'm going. The question is,
Okay.
has there been any consideration to negotiate or speak with some of those other businesses that perhaps have parking that are not used in the evening to negotiate the use of their space?
It's a great idea. I haven't done that. That's actually a really good idea. I'd be more than happy to consider that if it came to that. But again, we're just asking for 5 spaces relief there. The use of that space, what it was before, it was just not. I mean, it was just not good. So.
No, and trust me, anyone who's tried to eat downtown Wakefield, I applaud more seats.
Yeah.
So.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
And honestly, I had no idea there was an apartment back there. I've been in that building for 35 years.
I didn't either. When after we doing the walkthrough, I'm like, what the heck is this? It didn't even look like it. And then you see a bathroom, what used to be at one point and all of that. So this was the best use to use this space. It's a lot more safer too.
Okay. Members, yep. Ms. Hicks?
Yeah, one quick question. What are your proposed hours of operation?
Oh God, with all the restaurants, you're challenging my mind. Yeah, we're going to be doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner starting on the weekends with that. Not right away, but yeah, it will be 3 meal periods. Yeah, sure, you're welcome.
Go ahead, Mr. Rosen.
Question for Jamie. They're getting 5 parking spaces. Where are they? And do other restaurants have specified?
They're requesting relief, so the seating that they're adding is requiring 5 additional parking
Right.
spaces, which they don't have on premises,
So it's just a general parking in the public parking place that's there or wherever?
I think you take into account that there's on-street parking right on Main Street on both sides of the road, but similar to many other businesses on Main Street, there's 0 parking on site for other restaurants and retail stores. So, I mean, certainly the board can consider that.
Okay, thanks, Jamie. Oh, one question. Right next to the theater, there are a couple of parking places in that particular spot, in that particular...
So the restaurant has 23 parking spaces for the existing restaurant. So the seating plan for the existing floor plan was tailored to those 23 parking spaces that they own and control.
Okay.
The extra space that was the apartment that's now going to be a dining room, those I think it's 1 per 6. Am I doing the math right? 1 parking space per 6 seats, or?
So it's actually 1 per 3, but the zoning district, the CD district, allows you to reduce it by half.
Right.
So,
Okay. Yeah. I was trying to get the ratio right, but based on the yield plan for how you could lay out the tables, it'd be up to a maximum of 30. So that would be 5 spaces. So they have 23, which they were able to create a yield plan for to make that work with the existing footprint. That's the extra dining room in the back that they just don't have the real estate for.
I understand now. Thank you.
And honestly, as many times as I've been in the town's parking lot that most people don't seem to know about, that there seems to be 5 spaces there on a regular basis.
Yeah, this isn't public, right? We can still use that? I'm just kidding. It's the best kept secret in town.
Yeah, it really is.
But-
My wife and I were charging our car down there before we had an at-home charger because nobody else would charge there. Okay, any other questions, board members, for the wit?
There actually
yeah.
is. If people know the area, you can go up the road to Robinson Street. There is a public parking lot there that people use for the bike trail. So it's a little bit of a walk, but you know what? A walk is nice after you eat, so.
Actually, that is not a public parking lot. That's owned by the square that's there. There's a big sign there that says that.
On the other side of the street, that's owned by Eric Bell, and that's the Nest, but I think it's
Anyway.
public parking in the evening.
into an argument.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, don't park near my house. Okay, any other questions for your attorney or the applicant?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, do you guys want to add anything else?
Nope, no, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, you did mention that your breakfast through dinner, but you didn't say when the hours were. Were you thinking like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, but not 1 o'clock per se?
No.
Okay, great, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to add that if this special use permit is approved this evening, they would have to go to the town council for approval of that expansion of the liquor service.
Yep.
In addition.
So would we need to give them extra time for the permit?
No, it's
Per
just a
se?
condition of approval.
Okay, but they could still build it. They just couldn't necessarily serve alcohol
Correct.
in those 30 seats? Okay, dry back.
Even the, beyond the alcohol service, I think the addition of the seats, which would normally trigger extra parking, that they need to have that approved before the council.
So, Mr. Chairman, we issued a building permit for this space to be renovated. It's storage, I think, back of the house currently. So I think what they're asking for is just the tables and seating as part of this approval. But it wouldn't really, the design and floor plan is already, I believe, underway.
So they can maintain, they can continue with the work on the property if this is approved? To
Absolutely.
finish that, and then it's just conditional if they can serve alcohol?
Correct.
Right,
with-
they don't need
with the
another
seating.
permission for the parking or anything like that from town council? you're
No,
saying?
they do not.
Okay. Does that all make sense to you guys? Okay, cool. All right, anyone out there want to speak on behalf of this petition, for or against? No? Okay. Okay, folks have thoughts about this? Anyone want to start? Mr. Rosen?
Well, first of all, it's going to be a wonderful addition to Wakefield. I'm looking forward to it and wish you luck on it. I'm just flummoxed by the fact that we're not increasing the parking, but parking is always a problem down there, particularly on Friday and Saturday nights. But I don't have any objection to approving this petition, and like I said, I wish them well. And I know that I've been down there. I've seen that there's a lot of construction going on down there, and I hope that the town council will approve this so that when they do get started, they can allow alcohol to be in the whole restaurant, not just the major part of it.
Thank you, Mr. Rosen. Mr. Elia, how are you feeling about this?
I'm in favor of it. I don't see any reason. I think it's a great addition to the area, and I think the parking can be overcome.
Ms. Hicks, any thoughts?
No, I too think it's a wonderful addition to Main Street, and the parking is what it is downtown, but I don't see that the addition of a few extra seats to your restaurant will make a huge difference.
Okay, Ms. McDonald?
When it comes to parking, I think if you have a good restaurant, I wouldn't worry about the parking. People will walk to it, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. And I think it will positively impact downtown. So I really look forward to seeing you have success there.
Yeah, I concur with my fellow board members, except you didn't show us a menu. So I don't know how much I'm in favor of this, if based on the food. No, I think anything that happens to that parcel, I think is it certainly fills as a fixture of downtown, and it was sort of relied upon in terms of food service, and there's a big hole in downtown for it, so I think it's welcomed. I know there are some other exciting things happening in downtown, so hopefully all those things happening at once isn't going to make a problem, but that's a good problem if it's too busy. And I can always walk, so I have no problem with parking. So, but no, I think it is something that I've been on this board for a couple decades, and I know that we've certainly talked about parking a lot, and they've even talked about sort of eliminating some of the parking requirements over the years. And I think, we've even had that cafe come in down, I can't remember that name, Calf Bar, that there's zero parking except for one spot right in front. And they've managed to have a successful business. So I think people find a way to park and find a way to go to the restaurant. So I wish you all the success to this. So I have no problem. I think they've certainly are doing good things to improve the neighborhood. So okay. Does anyone want to make a motion on this, or?
And this motion's going to be a twofer, the special use permit and the dimensional variance. You can do it as one motion as long as you address both aspects.
Let me see if I can do this. All right. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the petition of John Brito for the premises located on 323 Main Street. They're asking for a special use permit as well as a dimensional variance for the property. The attorney, Mr. Johnson, spoke of the property and the plans for the property. We reviewed the floor plans as well as the footprint of the building, identifying the areas of egress that they're going to add, as well as the seating on the second floor of a once single-family apartment or single-room apartment that was on the second floor that they're looking to add 30 seats to. And previously, that area was not accessible or didn't provide egress out of the building. So they've actually created another egress on the outside of the building. There's also another internal stairway, or two internal stairways, that one for service, it looks like, and one for public. Also, and I'm sorry, your name, Mr. Kamens? Brito. Oh, you are John Brito. Okay, I'm sorry. Someone else signed it. So Mr. Brito also spoke about his intentions for the property and that they're looking not to change any other aspect of the function of the in terms of operation of hours, as well as the services that they're offering, the food service, as well as beer and wine and alcohol. So the capacity of the balance of the restaurant is going to remain the same, while the new addition of the space on the second floor is going to add 30 seats. We also talked about how the area seems to accommodate a lot of the flow of additional parking requirements by the various businesses that have success in downtown. And it certainly has enabled, or folks have managed to be able to visit the various sites. We didn't have anyone speaking against or for it. And the materials that were entered, as I mentioned, were all the plot plans as well as the seating arrangements. For the special use permit, we find that the special use is authorized by this ordinance, and mainly because the special use for this, the special use for this restaurant is allowed. They're intensifying the use, but it's still within our ordinance and in terms of permissibility. We do feel that it meets all the criteria set forth in our subsection of our ordinance authorizing the special use, and that's mainly because, again, this is an existing special use that's being intensified by 30 seats. So we still find that it is still meeting the criteria in our ordinance. We find that granting the special use will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the ordinance or the comprehensive plan. So we did consider that they made satisfactory provisions including ingress and egress, which is not going to be affected. They're putting a stairway in the back, and this stairway that they're putting in for egress from the second floor is in a corner that was not part of the movement of cars or people into the back parking lot, nor was it an area where there were any services that were being utilized, be it trash or any other utilities. So that was not affected. The off-street parking, is something we did discuss, which is part of the dimensional variance. We also did talk about loading and offloading all of the equipment as well as materials needed to maintain the business, and he did discuss that Mr. Brito discussed how they understand that this is a main street and that there isn't an ability to have 35-foot trailers kind of come in, so they're going to use smaller trucks in order to supply the business. Off-street parking, so things like noise, glare, odors, again, nothing is sort of changing. There is a slight intensity in terms of capacity, but it won't affect the quantity of or locations of any of the noise, odor, or otherwise. Trash storage, delivery areas, like I said, are fine, aren't changing. Utilities aren't changing. No need for screening or buffering in this case. So no signs or exterior lighting that's going to be added beyond what's already there. So the general compatibility with lots in the same or abutting, this again is not changing the look of anything. It's just using a part of the building that has not been used before. Like I said, they are adding a stairway, but it's in a corner that wasn't previously utilized. There are no, the approval of the special use, there's no conditions whatsoever. So next is the dimensional variance. Again, the folks that spoke for it were presenting the plans and discussing the use of the property. And mainly we were talking in regards to the dimensional variance relative to the additional 5 spaces that are needed for using the space for the additional 30 seats. And, we found that the nature of the downtown really is requiring all these businesses to sort of work collaboratively in the sense that it's a matter of utilizing the space that is there for parking. There might be some horse trading that happens in terms of saying that there are lots available, but we do find that there's enough spaces in the town to sort of accommodate, or in that area to accommodate. So we find that the hardship from when the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure, and it has nothing to do with the general characteristics of the surrounding area. And this is not due to any physical or economic disability of the applicant. This is really just a matter of that there aren't enough spaces in downtown to accommodate the needed 5 spaces. But we do find that the hardship is not the result of any action of the applicant. This is an existing business that they're looking to just utilize the footprint. We find that granting the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive plan for which the ordinance is based. And this is because, again, it's an existing building, an existing business, that business had done very well for some time, and we don't feel that the extra 30 seats will necessarily inhibit the use of downtown. I know from experience that there had been a line at Phil's in the past where people are waiting to get in, and parking didn't seem to be an issue when people were waiting. Now people won't be waiting, they'll actually have seats. Well, we hope people are waiting, but still, we find that there's capacity of the town can handle it. So we find that the hardship suffered by the owner of the subject property, if the dimensional variance is not granted, will amount to more than a mere inconvenience. And this means that the relief is minimal and for a reasonable enjoyment of the permitted use of the property. So, this has been a property that has grown over the years. Certainly the rooftop dining was a concern, not a concern, but it was discussed, well, I can't say a half dozen years ago because apparently the other ordinance was about 10 years ago and I got that wrong. So some time ago that came in front of us, and I think, they certainly demonstrated that their use of the property, it will not impair the enjoyment of folks in the town. So I don't think by any means this will affect neighbors or otherwise just by those 30 seats and the request of 5 parking spaces. So there are no conditions, so therefore I make a motion to approve the special use permit as well as the dimensional variance for John Brito. Can I get a second?
Second?
Second by Ms. Hicks. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Mr. Elia?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald? Motion passes. Good luck. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for doing all that. Now, I have a question, though. You guys I don't know how far it is to New York City. Are you going to put that sign back up? There was a sign in the top that said, 1,200 miles to New York City. It's right next to it's next to the New York style pizza. It's leaning against the wall. You don't need to put that up. That is off the record. That has nothing to do with the zoning board whatsoever. Good luck, guys. Okay. Enough tomfoolery. So, is there anything else to cover besides minutes for last month? Attendance next meeting? Is everybody else going to be able to make it next month? That's October rather. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. October, was it the 15th? 15th. Yep. Okay. All right. So, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from? Oh, yes, there was a change, a minor change. Ms. Hicks, I believe you mentioned that there was a concern for some of that. So we can make a motion to approve the July minutes?
So moved?
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Were there others?
I don't believe you have the August minutes yet. I think we're still
Okay, excellent. All right. Well, I think that's it. Did well, Ben. Make a motion to adjourn. Thank you. So moved. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?